welcome to the Braintree Leadership Academy Introduction to the New Age Leadership Program. And I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much for being here. Obviously, Alison, we know you, and I think we'll have a few other familiar faces joining us throughout the session. We appreciate your time's valuable, so it's our intention that you get great value from today's session. My name's Cindy Nicholson. I'm the CEO and founder of Braintree, a global leading executive coaching and leadership company. Just a quick overview about who's Braintree, just to give you a little bit of an insight. Our business actually started in 1998. And so it's quite a long time ago now, and it's evolved over the years into the global leadership and executive company that it is today. And what we really focus on is helping our clients break through barriers and reach their true potential. And now, something you didn't know about me was that in 2009, I went through a really difficult time in my life, and a friend recommended a coach to me. And I took their advice, and I was so amazed with the results that I decided I wanted to learn the skills of coaching so that I could apply them in areas that I could see had a need based on what I'd observed in others. So I have a real passion for this. So I went ahead and I qualified with the International Coach Federation in 2012, so 10 years ago now. And then it wasn't long before I found myself on the regional leadership team with the International Coach Federation in New South Wales. And then not long after that, I joined the board of the ICF, the International Coach Federation in Australasia, and I served there for about 3 years. So I got some great insights across the whole globe. Actually, we worked with the head office and we ran some conferences, so I got to meet some amazing people and just really immerse myself into this passion. But anyway, over the last 35 years, my career has actually spanned across the globe through investment banking. I started off in London in JP Morgan. I've worked with global software companies, both startups in the Silicon Valley and large Silicon Valley, and large enterprises. I've also been in telco and management consulting. At CBA, I directed one of their largest projects, which was a $70 million program, which rationalized 22 trading systems down to 4 in their global markets division. So a lot of insight in technology transformation over the years. And I'm incredibly grateful for those opportunities that I was able to fulfill, because all of them have really set me instead to what I'm able to do to bring to my clients today with that 35 years experience into my coaching business. And aside from that, I've also set up 6 startup businesses. So
wow.
I understand the perils of the process of doing that. And I now mentor quite a few companies like Stone and Chalk. I've worked with the Irish government on their programs and Women in Technology in Queensland. So I really sort of try to help them fast track their success by helping them avoid the mistakes that I made on my journey. But you can hear from some of those clients on the testimonial page anyway. Enough about me. Let's talk about why you are here. The New Age Leadership Program, that's why we're here today. But I think it's fair to say that we've just experienced one of the most challenging times in our lifetimes with the global pandemic that's forcing so many of us into discomfort, where our personalities and skills have been put to the test. And in fact, just recently, the Washington Times reported financial and emotional stress from COVID-19 pandemic has caused a spike in the number of divorced single parents in the US.
Don't say that today.
Abusive relationships. So it doesn't just impact us at work. Obviously, it has a big impact on everything that we're doing across our entire lives. So it's all about, our whole selves. And I guess it's also fair to say that it's been a very costly pandemic. So in the last 6 months, from January 2020 till June 21, well, not the last 6 months, but that period, over that 6-month period, the New South Wales state government spent $7.5 billion. And that was really just on health and economic stimulus. Huge impact all the way through this. So why did we develop this program? Well, all of those things that happened around the pandemic, they just really got me thinking, what impact is this having on our leaders in organizations? And COVID-19 really, we were really experiencing exponential growth in technology, as well as what was going on with COVID-19. And we had that dependence on technology whilst it was massively growing as well. And so we had these organizations trying to move to sort of digital first operating models as quickly as they possibly could. And that largely translated into technology transformations. But what about the people and leaders? That was a part I really felt was perhaps not really sort of looked at closely enough. So COVID-19 forced this virtual working environment, which in itself transformed how we work going forward. And in fact, employee flexibility now is more important than a pay rise to most people looking for new jobs. So quite insightful. And then you throw in the additional considerations that have emerged with gender diversity and inclusion, gender equality, evolving employee engagement models. And we really do need to stop and look at what's really happening, where we're heading, and do we have the right framework in which to evolve and align with the current influences so that we can lead with purpose and confidence and empower employees to collectively contribute and drive the changes needed to remain relevant in the market, and on top of that, to be the most attractive employer to top talent. So as we thought about creating this program, we talked with our clients and realized that we couldn't just jump straight in to try and solve each individual challenge, but rather start from the core with a framework that aligned with modern organisational traits and proven success. This really had to be driven by the leaders in organisations, and we really felt that it was necessary to really start from the ground up again, and that's why we started the New Age Leadership Program. And we believe that any type of business transformation requires several elements to it, and they all need to be addressed to ensure that that ecosystem integrates with each other and creates a streamlined operation. And as I said, most of the time, technology and process are the focal points of transformation programs, but we believe that people element is integral to success. So our goals are to furnish leaders with the tools, the mindset, and the frameworks to be able to embrace influences that are foreseeable, such as industry revolutions, and to respond to unforeseen influences that are things like global pandemics or war with, confidence and stability. And these influences require us to be constantly thinking ahead. We need to be proactive. We need to be embracing our resources. We need to create the right mindset and the right culture to address evolution and adversity. So what is the New Age Leadership Program? Well, in the New Age Leadership Program, you'll get guided through the development and an implementation of your own best practice New Age leadership framework with a hybrid of online learning and coaching, which is really quite unique. I mean, we've seen training move online, but we don't always sort of see that combination of one-to-one coaching to really make sure that changes really do take place. So it's designed for leaders who are looking to upskill and advance their careers, learning to, how to lead with more modern practices and prepare them for those adverse situations we talked about, but more still to create that followership and influences to create a widespread change across the organisation. It's like they say, the fish rots from the head. So anything like that, it's got to come from the leaders and start to filter through the organisation. So in the New Age Leadership Foundation course, and we've got two levels of program, you will become a certified New Age leader under the Braintree Leadership Academy, which would allow you to implement learnings into your organisation. So whatever you learn, whatever framework you build, you can go ahead and implement that in your workplace, even if it's just in your team. It doesn't have to necessarily be right across the organisation, but maybe in a business division or so on. And as a leader in your organisation, you can live by those principles and teach your direct reports and colleagues those same philosophies and frameworks, and you can integrate culture and leadership into technology and process transformation projects in your organisation. And the other area is to be an accredited New Age leadership practitioner, and that goes to the next level where you'll become accredited so that you can teach others within your organisation the New Age Leadership Foundation program, and you can run your own coaching sessions. Or if you're a leadership coach, you can also teach and coach your clients using that framework and the methodology. Within that program, you will undertake the course, and on top of that, you'll be provided with additional information and tools to support you as the practitioner. And you get to choose a complimentary additional module, which is usually valued at $5.99 and you can add that into your program as a specialization in your toolkit. So at the end of that one, you basically can expect to adopt the mindset that's aligned to the best practice of modern leadership, and that's perfectly aligned to your own organizational requirements. You'll lead and drive new initiatives based on that sound awareness. You can accelerate your organization into a new world creating relevance for the future and sustainability for our planet, which is really important to a lot of organizations. You can enable human transformation amongst your communities, and you can create your own customized framework as a new age leadership framework, and obviously gain many new skills and insights to excel as a leader. So how was it developed? Well, when we developed this course, we brought together industry insights, case studies, and most uniquely, something that's of incredible value and something that takes tens of years to develop, and that is to draw on the experience from working in established organizations and startup organizations, and having observed those structures, cultures, and behaviors of these, not just in Australia, but right across the world in large financial institutions in New York, London, Singapore, Japan, and all of Asia, and startup companies that are based out of Mountain View, the heart of the Silicon Valley. We really do get a lot of insight that we can bring to the table. So whilst there are theoretical components to this program, it's subtly got combined with those insights based on extensive real life experiences. And we're using a series of videos, downloadable documents, images, webinars, exercises, quizzes, workbooks, references, and resources that you can all work through at your own pace. And it's nice because there's lots of different levels of learning that's involved. So whichever type of learning you prefer, it's going to be something for everybody there. And we deliberately leave a week between completing each module. So you'll start a module, you'll have about a week to do that module at your own pace, and then you have a week where you can do some of the assignments, and you also look at your learnings and you start to put them into practice, and you start to observe what's going on around you. So your mindset starts to change and evolve, and you'll start to put the building blocks together of your best practice New Age leadership program, the framework. But at any time as you go through the course, you might go back and you might tweak those a little bit as you learn more. But what's really unique, as I said, is that hybrid nature in which it's delivered. So firstly, you'll learn online at your own pace, whenever you like, with all those amazing tools and content. And there's a workbook as well that guides you through the lessons in every module, and I'll show you what that looks like shortly. Your course will also entitle you to 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with your assigned accredited New Age leadership practitioner. So you can be sure that you're going to get the most out of the program, and you can address any questions that you have with that coach. You'll get coached through some of your own findings and discoveries as part of your own personal transformation journey. The coaching sessions operate within the Code of Ethics from the International Coach Federation, and you can download those from the program platform as well if you wanted to have a read through. So the one-on-one coaching normally happens at the midpoint and at the end point of the program, but you can choose to upgrade and receive additional coaching as required. We're really flexible in supporting whatever the learning requirements are. And you have access to a dedicated email support line for any ad hoc questions that you might have along the way. So we're here for you all the way, basically. There's a lot of support. Now, building your own New Age leadership framework. As you can see, the program's made up of 6 modules, and we'll have a look at that as I take you through the program. Starting with some of those fundamentals, culture and structure are really the basic, foundations to really start to build on. And then obviously we start to look at the future of work. We look at technology and data and networks and ecosystems, and we look at the New Age leadership principles as well. And finally, you pull it all together and wrap it all up to create that final structure that you look at. So each of those modules become the building blocks to design that best practice New Age leadership framework. It's really easy to get up and going. Yeah, it's really easy to get up and running. So once you've decided if you're going to do the Certified New Age Leadership Foundation program, or if you want to become an accredited practitioner, you just select the option from our website, place your order, and then you'll immediately receive your enrollment details. Set up your password and your journey begins. It's as simple as that. And we'll issue you with a welcome pack, and you'll get workbooks, which are also available to download, and they're online. Now, I can show you very quickly what one of those actually looks like. So this is Module 1 workbook. And what happens is throughout the program, you'll constantly be referred to, go to this exercise, go to that exercise throughout the book. So it takes you on that journey, and you start to discover a lot of your own insights and thoughts as you go through. Each one has sections for each lesson. So what is organizational culture and values? You start to look at your own culture and values, and you start to take some observations as what's really happening for you at the moment. Then you reflect on when there's been some really strong organizational cultures that you've experienced, and what were the things that really stood out for that. And then we'll talk about different cultures in organizations, and you start to pick, well, which one do I seem to align to more, and which one would actually suit the organization that I need to be evolving into. And then we'll talk about organizational culture and values and what's important to you. We talk about why culture is important, how it's impacting your business, and we'll look at vision, mission, and values. So everything all starts to really tie together. We talk about putting in your vision and your mission here. What is your values roadmap and direction? So these are all the components that you start to do to build them up. Then we'll look at successful organizational cultures. You'll go through the videos, you'll learn about what they're talking about, and then you start to make some notes and describe how they might sort of be showing up in your organization, or what things you might like to do to change. And then we talk about some of the principles of modern organizational culture, why they're important. So we race through a few of those things, and we start to explore what other areas do they show up in your organization. So there's quite a few in there that we work through. And then at the end, you'll come up with what your key principles are that stand out for your culture. So this is part of then the building block that will take you towards establishing your framework. So that gives you an idea. The look and feel of each of the module workbooks are the same. Some are thicker than others, and they're all very much hands-on. They also get sent back into your coach. So your coach can see the sort of examples that you've been looking at, what your experiences are, and discuss those with you as well during the coaching sessions.
Just wondering, do you have an estimated sort of time commitment on this? Like you mentioned, there's sort of hybrid approach and there's assignments, and what?
So usually what happens is you'll start the first module as soon as once you're enrolled and you're ready to go. And you typically sort of would take about a week. You might only spend an hour a day or something like that, maybe an hour and a half. And then you're taking the observations and learnings, but then you take those away and you actually start to implement them. I don't say implement them, but you're observing what's going on in your own environment. So based on what you've learned and what you're actually experiencing, how are those things all working together, and where do you think that adjustments need to be made? Or if it's a completely new organization, then you just start from a clean slate. And then what happens is, if you've basically got 2 weeks to do that whole module and to do the assignments, which are really just about capturing your thoughts. It's not like, pages and pages of information.
It's kind of like those questions in the book that we saw.
Yeah, correct. That's right. And that really gives you those couple of weeks. So the reason we stagger it like that is we just don't want people to race through and not really take on board the information and really sort of observe it properly. So that's why we give it that time. So being 6 modules, then, that's over pretty much, the 12 weeks, I guess, so a 3-month sort of time frame period. And look, some clients start, they go a bit slower on module 1, and then they might pick up on module 2 and then have a bit of a pause to module 3. It's really very flexible. And once you get to the 3rd module, you can just jump on and book in your session and keep going from there. And if you want to go back at any time, you can always review some of the lessons. So if you sort of have a bit of an aha moment and you think, oh, actually I'm going to go talk to somebody else about that, and you want to maybe review that lesson, you can just hop back and do that at any time as well.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so that's all good. I'm going to take you through an overview of the program itself now. The program is made up of 6 modules, and each module has 6 lessons. But prior to starting the course, you will go through a number of preliminary steps where you will get a message from your instructor, giving you a bit of an overview of the course and getting to know you and what your objectives of the program are. We'll go through a quick questionnaire that you'll complete as well, just to give some information about what you're looking to achieve and what areas you're particularly interested in, and some of the information that supports us in supporting you. You'll then also have another welcome video from your coach, and we will talk about how you can get support throughout your program, how you can access different membership areas and VIP areas, how you can access other resources that are available to you as a VIP of the Braintree Leadership Academy. And then we'll have another session where we're actually going to talk about why you're here and what can you actually expect from the course. Again, We're going to talk you through that through a video, and we can also talk through what you're going to expect to do during the course. And then the next step is we're going to talk you through an overview of some of the modules. You'll be able to see what's in store for you, and you'll be able to understand the program and the content and how you need to work through that and what's expected of you. During the program, you will be invited to submit different assessments, and you'll be doing quizzes. And each of the modules here, you can see that there are 6 modules that are aligned with the program, and each one will automatically invoke 2 weeks after you start the preliminary module. The reason we do that is we really need to give you a week to go through the content, and then a week where you can really sort of immerse yourself into the modules and the assessments and the quizzes and start to put into practice the things that you've actually learned. So we don't want you to rush this. We really need you to take your time. Change takes time to process, and mindset shifts take time to process. So we don't want you to rush this. We really want you to take your time and apply all the learnings as you go. Now, when you get to module 3, at the end of module 3, you will have your first coaching session. We do have flexibility around the program, but with the standard program, you will get 2 coaching sessions, one at the midpoint and one at the end. But if you wanted to have any additional coaching sessions, that's perfectly fine. We can just schedule those in. But those sessions are really to talk about what ideas have come up for you, what support do you need, what obstacles have you come across in the workplace or in your environments as you're still trying to implement your learnings. And at any point in time, you can go through these modules that you've already completed and go back through the lessons. So if you have a look here, first of all, the first module is understanding organizational culture and values. So we'll talk about what is organizational culture and values, and we'll talk about the impact on your business, vision, mission, and values. We'll look at examples of organizational cultures for successful new age organizations, and we'll look at principles of modern organizational culture as well. And then we'll look at your own My Age leadership culture. So what is it that you decide, having learned all of these components, what is the one that sticks out for you and what do you want to be implementing? And then we can start to have a look at some of the organizational structures. So what is their structure now? What type of structures are there? How do modern organizations structure themselves and what are their principles? And again, then looking at how do you set up your own organizational structure. Remembering at the end of this, you will be compiling your own best practice New Age leadership framework. So each of these modules are the building blocks to take you on that journey to ultimately create your end result. We're also going to look here in the future of work. We look at how we understand the future of work. What are the implications around that? Sustainability, ESG, CSR. We look at diversity, equity, and inclusion. We also look at virtual leadership. And then we'll talk a bit about the Great Resignation. We'll also talk about your leadership style and how that actually relates back to the culture that you've decided to implement. Technology obviously is a major impact on any kind of future of work. So we will have a look at data privacy. We'll look at ecosystems and networks. And we'll look at a lot of the emerging technology. And we'll look at technology as an enabler to you. What about innovation? And how do you sell your ideas in the organization? And then we'll look through various principles as a new age leader, how you can bring coaching into your leadership style. What about your personal brand internally and externally? Thought leadership, forward thinking, keeping momentum. And then we'll start to bring it all together and create your new age leadership framework, which will be based on all of those preceding modules. So at the end of it, you can have a framework that is best suited specifically to your environment, to your business, to your company, but you can still use the same framework time and time again as things evolve in your existing organization or if you move on to somewhere else. You'll also have a series of resources, references, and credits. If you are looking to qualify as an accredited practitioner, you'll also get your certification at this stage. And all of the downloads that are available to you will include additional resources such as coaching tips and coaching questions to help you as a practitioner on your journey. So that's the overview of the program. Every 2 weeks, each of the modules are invoked, so you can have time to do your assessments, submit them, get some responses back from your coach and get you on your journey. But ultimately, what we're looking at is the opportunity for you to really have that best practice new age leadership framework, which is designed specifically for you and will enable you to propel yourself in your career, or as a practitioner, enable your clients and your teams to propel themselves in their career. So that's what it looks like. You get a bit of an overview, but you can imagine it's actually really quite content rich. There's a lot of things to take in. There's a lot of sharing of facts and observations. You're really furnished with a lot of information that can help you develop your own perceptions and your own perspectives on things, but being given that guidance at the same time with that framework. That's really, really rich, and everyone who's doing it is really enjoying it at the moment. So that has been getting great feedback, which is really, really amazing. That really sort of brings us to the end of the overview and the demo. So I really appreciate everybody's time and support, and we'll see you all soon.